What's going on, everyone? In this video, I'm going to show you how you can find books on Amazon right now that do not have a sales rank that are actually flippable. I mean, these are books you can buy on Amazon right now and then resell back on Amazon for a profit. And if you're interested in that, let's dive right in. All right, so I was going through my Keep a Track product notifications. Essentially, if you're not familiar with the Keep a Track product feature, you can track any book or any product for that matter on Amazon for whatever price that you want. And this book in particular here, Algebra and Trigonometry, this is a book that I've sold in the past. I was tracking it for I think about $30. And what I noticed when I looked at the Keep a Graph is you can probably see it very clearly. The sales rank of this book just disappeared. You can see, June, July, August, September of the previous year, it was selling amazing. I mean, you can see the sales rank got as low as low 30,000s, stereotypical textbook pattern there. You can actually see every single year. I mean, this is a book that just pops off and does amazing. I mean, this is a seasonal book. Plug for Victor Gallegos. Make sure you check out this interview I did with him almost a year ago now, where he kind of showed us these amazing seasonal books that you can buy, books that get really low in the off season and then during the actual textbook season do really well. But the point here is that this is a book that lost its sales rank. You can actually see on early October, the sales rank went from 550,000 and Keepa just stopped recording it. And if you even also go over to the Amazon webpage and you scroll down where you would normally see a sales rank, you actually see no sales rank. And so this isn't an issue with Keepa. This is actually an issue with Amazon for some reason not reporting a sales rank on this book. Not sure why that's happened, but it's happened. Keepa is no longer reporting it because Keepa's scraping that from Amazon's webpage. There's nothing to scrape. But the point is, this is a book that is now gold because so many people who are tracking this book might not buy it anymore because they don't see a sales rank. They might not be super familiar with Keepa graphs and understand that this book is still selling, right? Anyone who's searching for this book probably won't find it because they're probably not searching Keepa Product Finder or Keepa Deals for no sales rank. The point is that this is a book that just dropped in price, went from $30 down to $21, and I picked up I think 4 copies of this book because I mean this is a book that is absolutely going to pop off this August, September. And just a little bit more proof that this book is still currently selling. You can go to the data tab, you can go to offers, you can go to include historical offers, and you can just look in the last, let's say 90 days. And what we can do is just scroll down here on its offers page, and eventually we'll see people who have gone out of stock, and you can see all these people recently. Stock quantity from 2 to 1, this 1 to 0. You can see there's a bunch of people who have recently gone off this listing in the $30 range, even in the $50 range pretty recently. And this is something that, again, I picked up 4 copies because the sales rank of this book is amazing, and it kind of lasts. It starting in June, all the way to September. You can see the buy box last year got up into the hundreds. So this is a book that easily, I'm probably gonna be making 40 to 50 bucks per book on. But yeah, just an example that sales rank isn't everything. Sometimes the sales rank isn't even recorded. Now, what I also wanted to do is show you another book that I took advantage, same sort of strategy, took advantage of this book last year. This is a BJU Press pre-algebra workbook, 2nd edition textbook. You can see that this is a book that also for the longest time didn't have a sales rank. It, for whatever reason, Amazon stopped recording it. You can see it, came out in 2018 and 2019. It's a high school book. It did really well in July, August of 2018, July, August of 2019. And then in 2020, sales rank just disappeared, no longer to be found. 2021, 2022, 2023. But despite that, this is still a book that was still doing very well. And one way that you can tell that again is you can see how the used price goes up and down. It flows like a pattern. It gets lower in the off season, gets higher during the textbook season. And one other key indicator that this book is selling is you can see how the offer count is changing in a way where you would expect there to be sales velocity. You would expect there to actually be sales. The offer count is going up and it's down. It's ebbing and flowing with the season. And in any case, this is a book that I bought back in June 5th of last year. I bought it for $19.95. There's the actual details there, $19.95. On Seller Hemp, I can scroll down and go to the orders page, and I believe I sold it for like $55. So I mean, this is a book that we made a profit of $15, 94% ROI on a book that has no sales rank. Well, that had no sales rank. And what's kind of fascinating about this book is you can actually see eventually the sales rank did get picked back up by Keepa. And again, what that means is Amazon finally started publishing the sales rank for this book again. And you can see, since the sales rank has been published, a lot of scanners, people are going to thrift stores, bulk booksellers are now going, oh, this is a book that has a pretty good used price and it has a sales rank that's pretty decent now. Now they start picking this book up. One of the reasons why this book had such a low offer count for such a long time is because of the fact that it had no sales rank. Anyone who's thrifting the book and scanning with Scout IQ or Scoutly, any bulk bookseller who's using any sort of software wouldn't pick this book up because it has no sales rank, right? I mean, most people don't sell books without sales ranks, because most people make that decision about whether or not they're going to buy a book based upon if it actually sells, if it has an e-score. Can't have an e-score if it doesn't have a sales rank, if it doesn't have sales rank drops. So the last thing that I want to do is show you an elite way that you can source books that don't have sales rank that could be very profitable books for you. And, just a little plug for me as well is, I've got tons of videos on my YouTube channel that are free. I honestly believe you guys could get to $100,000 pretty easily in revenue if you just watch the free YouTube videos. I did come out with an A2A Masterclass last November. I have over 200 members in that masterclass. It's not free, but it's a fast track to success. So if you guys are interested, make sure you check out the link in the description. But in any case, let's show you how you could use Keepa Product Finder to find some books like this that you can flip. Okay, so I'm over here in Keepa Product Finder. I went to the Data tab and then went to Product Finder, and I've gone ahead and input some parameters to get down to 72 products. So the first thing that I did under sales rank is just click this button that says no sales rank. We're looking for books that don't actually have a sales rank right now. And while most books that don't have a sales rank are not going to be books you want to find, there are going to be some hidden gems there. It is going to take more digging and more mining, but that also means that you're going to have a competitive edge and a competitive advantage if you do it, because very few people are probably doing this. Now, I'm also looking for books that Amazon's out of stock on as well. And for the use price, I'm looking for anything that has a 90-day average use price of at least $45 or more, because ultimately we want to find books that actually hold value. Now, we're also looking for a book that has seen a 7-day drop percentage of at least 30%. So we're looking for something that is holding a pretty good price, but then has dropped 30% in the last week. And if we keep scrolling down, we're obviously going to go ahead and select the book category under root category. And then I think we have something for sales rank drops. So the idea here is that under sales rank drops for the last 180 days, we're going to put a sales rank drop of 1. So what this means is we're going to find a book that currently doesn't have a published sales rank, but it did have a sales rank drop in the last 6 months. So what that means is, for some reason, the sales rank is no longer being recorded by Amazon. It's been kicked off. Not sure why, but this is returned 72 products. And then what you can do is use your cursor to go over potential products to see, if anything is possible. So for example, here's what I mean. This is a book that looks like it sold for $34 and $39. So not a book that sells very often, but this is what I mean. It had a sales rank of 6 million and then it went off the listing. You can see that in the last 7 days, it dropped from 48 to 16. So this is a book that, doesn't necessarily have an amazing track record. So it's not a book I'd pick up, but that's the right idea. Now, going a little bit down, we have this International Standard Bible. A lot of Bibles do really well. You can see this is a 5-volume set, so I probably wouldn't mess with it. But you can see there's a sales rank drop, at 60, a sales rank drop here at 72. It looks like a sales rank drop at 189. Now, again, you'd probably want to make sure there's 5 volumes, and again, it dropped down to 950. But so for me, this is something I'd pass on, but still not a bad deal. Now, again, going down a few more, we have this book called Multiple Choice Practice Explanations 2022 to 2023. So a book that's been somewhat relevant. You can just see the sales rank drop just went off the listing. But again, you see a sales rank drop at 59, you have one at 17, one at 38, one down there at $4. And yeah, this is a book that's undergoing a repricing war. It just dropped down to $15. So again, a book that's not really selling high enough at a great enough ROI or margin for me, but it's the right idea. All right, and this is a book that we found right now that looks to be a winner right here. So here's a good example. Criminal Investigations, plenty of sales rank drops on this book. This book has sold 15, 20 times at least in the last year. And you can see how that sales rank was getting up to about 2.2 million, and then it just dropped out the listing. And then you can actually see how the use price dropped from $135 down to 56. Now, normally people who are looking for this book on Keepa Deals, who are looking for large drop percentages and large drops in price with the sales rank up to 2.5 million, they would have found this book, but they're not going to find this book now because this book doesn't have a published sales rank. So you can see in January, February, this book was selling, for about $115 in new condition, at least 10 times there in total. You can see in June, July of the previous year, it was selling for 80. You can see as soon as this was coming in stock, for around $60 in August, it was selling pretty much immediately. A couple sales in new condition at 170. And this is a book that looks to be pretty new, right? It's a book that's only been out for 800 days, so it's been out for a couple years. But again, a book that looks to be pretty promising. So what you could do is obviously go to the Amazon listing, see if you, pick up a copy or two. It looks like there are 12 offers right now. And I would bet there's probably just a couple offers. So $60 there, $60 there, and then it goes up to 120. I would doubt there's a prime offer on it. Let's see. Yeah, no prime offer. So, for me, I would buy both of these copies. You'd be all in for about $60.54. And especially because right now there doesn't appear to be any new. Actually, there is somebody new on the listing at 145. I probably would come in right underneath it, right? This is a textbook. We are coming up on a textbook season. This is a book that just probably would have sold more times in August, September if there were just more copies. It's just as soon as it came in stock, it went out of stock, right? Because there probably was way more demand than there was supply there. But this is a book that I would, price for 100 and probably like $39.99. And in that case, you'd be making a $45 profit. So potentially with this book, we could make $80 just on this one book. And again, it wasn't like we got this book on the first try. I mean, we were basically, around the 35th book that we've looked at with this search parameters. So what we could do is keep going. It looks like the book right underneath it is very similar. Same sort of thing. The sales rank, for whatever reason, fell off. Had sold multiple times around 130. Now it's down here to 70. So again, another book that you can make some money on. I mean, this book also looks really good here. This is Applied Numerical Methods, again, in the 130s. Looks like it just dropped down to 70 as well. So, in this case, these are books that you would have to spend more money on, but I would feel very confident in many of those books buying them. Now, a few more down, we have this book called Second Front Row, 1943. This is a book that has, 4 sales rank drops in the last year, which is great. You can see it did drop from 43 down to 16. Now, it's not quite low enough, but one thing about this book is you can see it actually infrequently sells, but consistently sells. And, in the last 3 or 4 years, looks like it's been selling at the lowest price, right around $30. So not at the margin we want this book at to buy it. But if, let's say, this dropped down to like a couple bucks plus $3 shipping, then there's more margin. There's a possibility of it. Now, again, I normally want books like this to be selling for significantly more. Normally over $75 would be ideal, especially because they're long tail books, right? They're going to sit at the Amazon FBA warehouse for a while. But again, the margins on a lot of these books can be so high that even paying long-term storage fees is well worth it. Okay, here's another example. The social psychology book, not as great as the other ones. Looks like we had a sales rank drop at 44, sales rank drop at 22. And then you can see the prices drop. And one thing about these books that you should also remember, and about any listing in general, is that Keepa isn't perfect at recording when sales rank changes either. And just from my own experience of selling books, I know plenty of times when I sell a book, or even when I buy a book, and I go back and look at the Keepa chart, I don't always see a sales rank drop when that happens. So, again, a little bit more of an advanced Keepa tip there, that sales rank doesn't always drop when a book sells or when you buy the book. And we're just going to keep going down and see if there's anything else. And this is kind of what it would look like real-time sourcing. I'm just going one to the next. And again, what I'm trying to spot here is the current use price significantly lower than the past use prices that had sales rank drops. And so here's a good example. The price dropped down to 25 with sales rank drop. Most of these in that 30 to 25 range, but then we had a period of time where I was significantly higher. Now I'm going to expand all 3,400 days, because if that use price was like, let's say this $90 use price or $50 collectible price was consistent over the last decade, then I would feel very confident about buying this book. The fact that over the last decade, it actually has been pretty cheap makes me not very confident in buying this book. So this is a book I wouldn't buy, but if it were a very high use price over the last decade, then I'd feel much more confident buying it. All right, guys, I really hope you enjoyed the video. Again, if you want a fast track, make sure you check out the A2A Masterclass. Tons of ways to source books using Keepa. Make sure also you guys check out BookMine. Don't sleep on BookMine. BookMine's a software that my good friend Victor Gallegos and I made. It basically makes sourcing way easier. It just shows you like books that are very likely to be profitable. So it cuts out a lot of the time it would take you to find profitable inventory. These sort of clever ways to source is what the A2A Masterclass is about. So if you want sort of that more clever way to source, then feel free to go to the A2A Masterclass. But in any case, I enjoyed this video. Hope you guys did too, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.